All right, hello. Today is August 6th, and I was really going. I had gotten deep into this video, and noticed that I wasn't recording simply because I had tapped the screen and stopped the recording apparently. So we'll start over. Second time's a charm, right? So anyway, I was talking about how I got started in the prepping lifestyle. Almost 10 years ago, my wife and I had just gotten married, and we were living in this little apartment in Norfolk, Virginia. Now, for those that are in the United States, y'all know that the East Coast, certain areas just flood all the time. Well, this particular storm that came through, it was a nor'easter, which is like one step up from a thunderstorm. It was bad. I mean, it dumped a ton of rain to the point where we lost power, and we were without power for probably about a week, almost a week and a half. The place that we lived, all the electrical was in the basement, and the basement completely flooded. I mean, I had never seen so much water. It was probably 10, 12 feet of water inside the basement. It was crazy. So we didn't know anything about prepping. I didn't know anything about having your own power. I knew nothing about prepping. And from that situation, I promised my wife and I promised myself, I said, we're not going to go through this anymore. We are going to, at least have some of the basic needs. So I went out on a quest, and I started trying to figure out how, because I was so addicted to video games back then. I really started to look for alternate ways of powering my apartment so I could play my video game. Honestly, that's where it all started. What I found out, this rabbit hole takes you to a point where you will just keep getting information, and sometimes you're just disgusted with some of the things that you find. In this quest of trying to find things where I could be more self-sufficient, I have researched things like the 9/11 conspiracy, things like government conspiracies, JFK assassination. I mean, this rabbit hole it's a never-ending rabbit hole. And what I have found out is we don't control anything. We are in existence, and we really truly don't control anything. We are being controlled, especially if you are working a 9 to 5 or 5 to 5 or whatever. If you're working for somebody else, even if you're working for yourself, you're still being controlled. So I digressed. It's just it's been a crazy ride for myself and my family. For a long time, my wife, my children just knew I had lost my marbles. They thought I was crazy as hell, which is probably a little true. Which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people calling me crazy. And if you're watching this channel, then you probably are being called crazy by some of your people. And it's okay. I want to let you know that is okay. It is okay to be called crazy. Because when the SHTF happens, which means when the shit hits the fan, you and your family are going to be more prepared and protected from the outcome of what's going to happen than most families. And that's the most important to me. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people feel. I just want to make sure that when something happens, we are going to be all right. That is my biggest concern. Because I've been to the point where we weren't all right. And being all right and not being all right is two different things. Now, I look at the people that live around me. As a matter of fact, we had, what happened to us here? About 2 years ago, we had a storm that came through here, and it was funny because we didn't have power. We didn't have power for like 2-3 days, which now it's no big deal. We're like, okay, no power, no big deal. I just set up my emergency lighting. We have power backup. Set up the batteries. Bam, our house is lit up. We're ready. We're good to go. We're ready to roll. My neighbors, on the other hand. My neighbor next door on one of my sides, they actually had a generator. You guys can see, they actually had a generator, which was cool, because I had a generator too, but my stuff is so tight I don't have to use my generator. I have batteries and all that good stuff. So I didn't have to use my generator. He's out there running his generator. It's loud, and of course, anytime you have a generator, you're attracting all kind of activity that you may or may not want. So I try to be very discreet with my preps. Now I do have a generator, but I hardly ever use it. And the only time I need to go out there and test it now. The only time I even start it up, because like I tell you guys, I live in a city. I don't want everybody to know what we have. Now, if some of my neighbors are watching my YouTube, then you guys, hey, power to you. You know, if something happens, you possibly can come over here and we can create an alliance. I prefer you start doing that now before something happens. But, you know, I said all that to say this. Get ready now, so that when and if things happen, you don't have to start getting ready then, because at that point in time, it's way too late. So, while life is good, while things are amazing, start prepping now, because the preps that you make now, the more you do it, the less you have to do during an emergency. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. We're growing. The channel is growing. Help us grow, please, sir, please, ma'am, by subscribing and hit the bell icon so you know when I post. And I'm starting to post more often. And if you guys are liking my videos, please comment. Let's have a conversation. I appreciate the back and forth. And if I say something you don't like, let me know. You know, let's talk about it, because you may have a different perspective, because we all can learn and grow together. That's what it's all about learning and growing together. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you, and I love you enough to tell you the truth. Y'all be blessed. Take care.